know what I respect? People who are honest with themselves. If you're here, it's probably because you've tried things and they didn't work, but you're still looking, you're still trying, and you're still learning. That kind of resilience and self-awareness is rare, so I applaud you for that. Let me tell you a quick story. Back when I was working one-on-one on the gym floor with different clients, a new client came up to me and said, "You know, Nathan, I've been trying to lose weight for several years now. I've worked with different coaches, I've tried all the diet plans and all the exercise protocols out there, and still I haven't made much progress. So what makes you different?" Like, whoa, okay. Well, I gotta tell you, I sat there and thought about the question for a good minute. Then I said, it starts with you. Your mindset, your belief system, the strength of your desire to make change happen. Change comes when you're ready to fully embrace it and you stop fearing it. Okay, no, of course I didn't say that. I was still at the start of my coaching journey back then, and I was pretty naive. I didn't know much. But I've learned a few things along the way, and if there's one thing I know, is that I actually know nothing. Hey, that's Socrates. Okay, philosophy aside, in this video, I want to share with you what I've learned from working with countless clients on their health journey, especially when it comes to this dilemma: weight loss without tangible results. Okay, let's get into it. First, stop saying you can't lose weight no matter what you try. If you were cast on Survivor tomorrow on a remote island with nothing but coconuts and rainwater, I bet you're gonna start shedding pounds like nobody's business. Give it a few weeks and you're gonna come back as a before and after advertisement for intermittent fasting. So your metabolism is not broken. Let's just say it's been well fed. The real issue is that you're not focusing on the right lever. So you can start a workout plan and start being moderately active, but if you don't clean up your nutrition, you won't see the results that you want. And here's the thing, for most people, nutrition matters far more when it comes to fat loss than exercise. I would say somewhere around 60 to 80%. As fitness professionals, we need to stop pushing this idea that exercise will solve everything, because it won't. Not just by itself. And also, let's be real, exercising doesn't mean you get a free pass to eat anything in sight. Unless you're an Olympic or ultra endurance marathon triathlon junkie burning like 5,000 calories a day, that logic does not apply to you. So here's my number one realization. Most of us underestimate how much we eat and overestimate how much we move. Now, my island example earlier is a major oversimplification. In real life, there's a ton of factors that influence your relationship to food. But that example makes one clear fact very simple. If you understand the way your body works, then you can take a complex system, simplify it, and use it to your advantage. So yes, that simple idea that caloric intake versus caloric expenditure is going to help you lose weight or gain weight. So let's talk about the different factors that make changing your eating behavior so hard. First, there's social. You know, consumerism pushes us to always eat. The norms around food and drink, such as sugar and alcohol. The second one would be environmental, such as food availability, marketing, of course, and financial burdens. Then there's also biological, such as hunger and appetite regulation, energy storage, genetic factors, such as disease and addiction risk. 5, a very important one, the psychological factors, such as coping mechanisms, boredom and stress. And of course, last but not least, the food you actually eat makes a humongous difference on your results. Okay, let's look at it from a different perspective now. You know, we're surrounded by endless snack options when you go into a grocery store. Temptation is everywhere. That's why you need to cultivate strength of the mind. Learn to say no, not just to yourself, but also to others sometimes. You see, the social pressure around food and drink is huge. So if your goal is to take control of your health, don't expect to do so while caving into peer pressure. You'll need discipline, resilience, and the power to say no. Yes, people will probably say you're a buzzkill and boring and no fun, but didn't you say you had goals? I'm not saying one drink is going to ruin everything, but know yourself. Can you have one drink? If yes, great. If not, be honest. Most of us wake up the next morning regretting that first drink anyway. You know, same goes with birthdays, special occasions, and celebrations. Sugar is everywhere. Cake, ice cream, soda, holy, you know how good that thing tastes. But can you have one bite and stop there? Probably not, myself included. Why is that? Well, our taste receptors were designed to be that way. We're insanely sensitive when it comes to sweetness. Now, you combine that with fat and you've got a caloric bomb that your brain cannot resist. You know, cake, ice cream, Oreos, ice cream, and boom! You've just hijacked your brain's dopaminergic and reward system. That fat-sugar combo is perceived by your brain as an insanely energy-dense, valuable resource. Naturally, your brain's gonna tell you, go get some more. You see, your physiology has adapted over millions of years to seek energy-dense foods and store them for winter. But winter never comes around anymore. Here's the big but. If you genuinely have a hard time gaining weight, then don't listen to me. Skip 30 seconds. Let's get back to the video. And here's another thing most people don't realize. You probably don't need to eat 3 full meals a day plus snacks. You see, we've been conditioned to think that eating frequently is not only normal, but the best way to maintain optimal health. Okay, but make sure you've got portion control. What? Breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, dessert? 6 eating occasions, 1 day. Here's the truth. Most people are eating way more often than their body actually needs, but not what their body actually needs. And for most, it's not because they're hungry. It's because they're used to it. It's boredom, it's social, and it's emotional. We've normalized constant feeding in a world where we barely move. So that's where intermittent fasting comes in. I'm not saying that you need to fast for 24 hours or skip every meal, but compressing your eating window can do wonders when it comes to insulin sensitivity, weight loss, hunger, and mental clarity. Sometimes giving your body a break from digestion is the best metabolic reset. And no, your body won't shut down because you skip breakfast. That's a myth. If anything, learning to get comfortable when you're hangry, is one of the most powerful tools you can build. So it comes back to this: strength of mind, discipline, resilience, and the ability to say no. Okay, I don't want to come out as just another influencer telling you what you can and can't do. This is reality. You know, anyone you admire, whether it's an actor, a famous singer, or an athlete, they've all gotten there by saying no to distractions and temptations that don't serve them. For you, this is your rebellion. Here's realization number 2. You can't logic your way out of biology. You see, like we talked about earlier, your body is wired for survival, not six-pack abs. It doesn't care if you want to look lean for the summer. It just wants to store more energy in case food becomes scarce. That's why hunger, cravings, and fat storage exist. It's evolutionary insurance that does not serve us anymore. You see, when you restrict calories, your body fights back. Hunger hormones go up, and metabolism slows down to preserve energy. And it's not sabotage, it's just survival. But here's the truth. You can override biology with smart strategy. And that's by eating high satiety, nutrient-dense foods, managing stress, and fueling your body properly instead of constantly fighting with it. Here's realization number 3. Your genetics are not a life sentence, but they do write the first draft. Yes, some people have it easier than others. Some people lose fat a lot easier and gain muscle easier as well. Some feel hungrier, store fat faster, and struggle more with cravings. That's real, but it doesn't mean you're doomed. You see, epigenetics, the study of how the environment and lifestyle influences your genes, can actually work in your favor. So you're not stuck, you just need to play the game smarter. Yes, some people can eat junk and stay lean. You, maybe not, but that's your path and it might even make you stronger. So you don't need fear, you need a plan. Here's realization number 4. Most people eat to feel something, not to fuel something. We say we're hungry, but are we? Or are we bored, stressed, anxious, maybe lonely? You see, food is the most accessible legal drug in the world. It numbs, it soothes, it distracts. And when life feels completely out of control, grabbing a bite feels like we can get some of that back. Well, until you lose control. And that's why pure discipline won't cut it. You need awareness. You need to be honest with yourself. You need to ask, what am I actually hungry for right now? Realization number 5, you don't rise to the level of your motivation. but you fall to the level of your habits. You might start a diet and exercise plan full of energy and good intentions. But what happens when the excitement wears off? You default to your habits. And most people's habits revolve around different things that don't actually serve their goals. It could be late night snacks, eating while watching TV, rewarding a bad day with dessert, or grabbing takeout because you don't feel like cooking something healthy. But you're not failing because you lack willpower. You're failing because your systems are not aligned with your goal. You want to set up your environment to win. No junk food in the house, meals prepped ahead of time, bedtime locked in, and your water bottle should always be next to you. You want to make the unhealthy choice harder and make the healthy choice automatic. Realization number 6, you can't out-discipline bad sleep. Lack of sleep wrecks your hunger hormones. Ghrelin, the hunger hormone, shoots up. Leptin, the fullness hormone, drops. That's why you crave junk food after a bad night of sleep. Let's do a little bit of math. Poor sleep equals more cravings, bad decisions, and slower metabolism. Get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Dark room, and try to limit your screen time. Honestly, this might be one of the easiest fat loss hacks nobody talks about. Realization number 7, you're not fighting temptation. You're fighting a system designed to keep you unhealthy. Fast food, sugar, alcohol, ultra-processed garbage. Billions of dollars go into keeping you hooked. It's not just about personal responsibility. It's about awareness. It's about saying, I see the trap and I'm choosing not to step in it. This is a quiet rebellion. So join the resistance. Here's my final message. You've got the knowledge. You've got the truth. The answer is simple, but living it out is the hard part. So are you ready to act on it? Because in the end, you either sacrifice your vices to achieve your goals, or you sacrifice your goals to keep your vices. The choice is yours.